President of NBCSL, and of course with our co-host this morning, Congresswoman Clark, we at that juncture, we had said we were going to take 20-30 minutes, and the Congresswoman is still here, and of course Congressman Green and Moore are here to entertain, to take any questions or comments we may have as it relates to issues that are affecting the U.S. Congress. So, test one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Not a question, but much has been said about our present and where we want to go in the future, and about the 43 strong in Congress and the 700 in the state legislatures. But I want to remind everyone about 40 years ago, those two gentlemen whose backs we stand on today, Mayor Carl Stokes and Mayor Richard Gordon Hatcher. And this November, there will be a gigantic celebration in Gary, Indiana, honoring those two gentlemen that opened the doors for many of us 40 years ago. So I extend an informal invitation to everyone here and to all those that may not be here on November 30th in Gary, Indiana, the celebration of those two stalwart gentlemen that opened the door for many of us.
Where's it now?
At this juncture, I asked a question that not announcements, but we'll take that one.
I can put it in question.
No. For the Congressional Black Caucus, I've given you more than enough. All right. Any questions? Representative?
Yvonne Miller, Virginia. I'd like to ask a question about what's happening with the restoration of rights. I come from a state where we have an extremely academic process to restore rights to felons, and I wonder what's happening at the federal level on this issue. And one other thing before you answer my question, do you have a master email list with all of the members of the legislative black caucuses around the country on your list? I would certainly like to hear more from you.
President Smiley, all my brothers and sisters from the state legislatures, I'm so glad. I'm really happy I didn't chew that last bit up.
And I'm sure
But you are all my personal friends. As I look around, we have shared lots of great moments. As you all know, I'm a real good one. Yeah, Gwen will be here. I saw Councilman Berry come in this morning. Star of not only Washington, D.C., but of our community in general. As it relates to your question,
yes.
I can tell that states' rights is still the law of the land. And so I think that what we need to do is make sure that there's a better nexus, as you've suggested, between state legislatures and Congress, because truly you all still have more power in many respects than we do. As it relates to voting rights, I mean, each state has a right, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on how you see it, to determine whether or not felons get their rights back. In the state of Wisconsin, for example, felons do have their rights to vote restored after they have completed their sentences. Fortunately or unfortunately, one of the reasons that we can't get this paper voucher system for voting here on the federal level is because voting is administered literally by the counties at the county level or state level in each state. We don't have a federal election for president. So I want you all to know that you got the juice. As it relates to energy policy, no matter what we do here on a federal level, you know, we can't come up with an energy package, energy independence package, because different jurisdictions, states, regions have different products, for example, that could provide for energy alternatives, rice and corn and ethanol and so on. And so the decisions that you all are making, like Congresswoman Richardson said, the decisions that you're making on your energy committees sort of bubble up. And so I want all my brothers and sisters to know in the state legislature, I sure miss y'all. When y'all got the juice, you got the power, you know, you come here and you find yourself in the minority or in the majority, sort of 430. I think I moved up on the list, thank God for that Clark. I think I moved up on the list a little bit. And Laura Richardson, if it wasn't for them, I'd probably be number 435 in Congress. But those of you who have achieved seniority in state legislatures, seize that power. When I was in the state legislature, I made a huge impact on whether or not our families had health care. This S-chip program that we're passing here on the federal level, it is states' initiatives in health care where waivers are gotten, where we were able to cover adults because of experimentation that was done. In education, I mean, we have a huge education and labor committee, no child left behind and so on. But it is literally the monies that state legislatures put into education that funds education. And so I hope that that's an answer to your question.
It does and it doesn't. The reason it doesn't is because we have been working on this for 10 years. We are controlled by Republicans and we have not had good success. We need some additional help. And that's why I asked the question.
Okay. Well, I tell you, you know, please don't let Republicans, this is a nonpartisan event, by the way.
I know.
The annual legislative conference. But I can tell you that it matters a lot that you work hard on the state level to retain rights. People have different opinions, for example, about a woman's right to reproductive choice. But essentially, the proposals that are made, whether it's pro women's right or anti-women's right, the debate is that states ought to retain the right to determine whether women have these choices. So again, I repeat, you have the juice. And you know, one of the things that we're guilty of in the black community, let me just say that, this is a black conference, it's nonpartisan, but it's black. One of the things we're guilty of is that we represent these majority communities such that people don't run against us anymore. I mean, people never run against Paula Williams. They just never do. They run against me, but they never, for some reason, run against her. And she's probably not the best example of this because she's always active, always doing something in the community. But when you have districts like that, it kills the vote. I mean, people, you never have an opponent. People never come out to vote for you. Sharon Beasley T go get back in there. You know, we know Charlie go get back in there. Nate, X go get back in there. Calvin Smiley, who would think of running against Calvin but a fool? And so, but the problem is that we take cruises and go on vacation during election time. I mean, the way I've run it, I got witnesses in this room. I'm gonna sit down, Calvin. I'm not gonna talk long as Laura did.
Go ahead. It's your week. I'm just visiting.
You know, but the thing is that it didn't matter whether I was on the ballot or not. I drove the vote up. I always work in my district whether I have an opponent, I'm on the ballot or not. So if you don't want to be in the minority, you got to be in the street dragging people.